Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2020 horror comedy A Werewolf in England, a film that is written and directed by Charlie Steeds, and it stars Rhys Connolly, Tim Cartwright, Natalie Martins, Mark McCurdy and Jessica Alonso. Now this is a period piece and it follows a jailer and his prisoner. And he is taking this prisoner essentially to be hanged at the beginning of this film, and they have to stay overnight at an inn before they can continue travelling on in the morning. However, this inn is run by two murderous siblings, a brother and a sister, that once every full moon they have to pack the hotel out with guests and then offer them up as a sacrifice to a herd of werewolves that live in the woods. However, these guests are not going to go quietly, and they fight back, and it turns into an all-out siege between them and this herd of werewolves that want to get in and have them for their supper. Right, so what are my thoughts on A Werewolf in England? Well, I have to say I was quite pleasantly surprised by this one. When I first saw the title, A Werewolf in England, I kind of rolled my eyes. I thought it was going to be essentially a really cheap copy of An American Werewolf in London. I mean, I don't think the title is particularly inspired. I think they could have gone with something else, because in actual fact it doesn't start you off on a good point. Like I said, the title, it feels cheap, but the film is actually a pleasant surprise when you watch it. So putting the title to one side, what we kind of get here is a strange blend and a mix between Dog Soldiers and Evil Dead, but inspired or made by people who are very, very fond of the Hammer movies years ago, the Hammer horror movies. It's got its tongue firmly stuck in its cheek, this film. It's actually got a pretty wonderful sense of humour about it. Doesn't take it too seriously itself too seriously, so it allows you as an audience member not to take it too seriously, which allows you to enjoy it more. Yes, the film's silly. Yes, you will giggle at it, sometimes for the wrong reasons, but it's got a real English charm about it, this film. It's an English film, very low budget, but I think you can see they've tried to put all that budget on the screen. And it's quite a lot of fun to watch. The effects, certainly for the werewolves, is a bit hit and miss, but I think for the most part works. I think the masks themselves are pretty good, the werewolf masks. The bodysuits that the actors are obviously wearing, you see a little bit too much of them, and I don't think they move in them particularly well. They kind of stomp about the place like they've got constipation or something. They don't move like an animal should, or a werewolf should, which draws attention to it. So it might actually fit the movie to some people, because they actually walk quite comically, and this is like a horror comedy. So some people might like the effects, some people might not. I was a little bit in between, but I thought the masks looked okay. The acting here is okay for the most part. The two lead characters, the jailer and the prisoner, are decent enough. I think they do a good job in the film, and they actually, certainly the jailer has some pretty fun lines and is a pretty fun character. There's some wonderfully gory scenes actually in it as well. It's almost tipping its hat to other horrors. And this is probably where the Evil Dead comes from. Now again, there's a couple of scenes that you will immediately reference to Evil Dead, but there's also a couple of gory scenes that will remind you of things like that. It's over the top gore, so it doesn't feel offensive or anything, and it's not realistic gore as well. There's a scene where a werewolf defecates on a couple of characters that is undeniably quite amusing, but you do question why it's there. I suppose it doesn't necessarily need to be there. It's not, it doesn't steal the movie, this scene, or anything. It's not brilliantly funny, so I'm not sure if that was necessarily needed. But it's, for a period piece, I immediately got a vibe of a Hammer horror film when it first came on. The first 5-10 minutes it felt very much like that, with like some Carry On type humour, and if you're from the UK you know what Carry On is. It felt like a bit of Carry On humour put in there. I mean, you could have almost called it Carry On Werewolf to some degree, and you'd have probably got away with it if you'd have put a couple of recognisable UK comedic actors in here. So I think they do a pretty decent job here with this. Like I say, I'm not keen on the title. I think it gives the viewer a misfire. You kind of think, oh, they're just trying to rip off American Werewolf in London, and they're actually not. It's trying to be its own movie, and the siege of these werewolves on this hotel, this inn, is done quite well. It's not what I would describe as scary. There are a couple of tense scenes, I suppose, but the comedy in those scenes lightens it all up. And these werewolves are way too easy to kill. They don't bother with silver bullets and none of that stuff in this film. They go down with normal bullets and they get things chopped off and they're done for. So they don't follow the normal werewolf law, and I feel like these werewolves went down a little bit too easy, if I'm honest. But I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I'm being a little bit generous there, but I did find the film quite entertaining, I'm not going to lie. I thought it was nicely put together. They used the budget as best as they could here. The performances are all okay. The writing's good. The comedy works for the most part, even though not every joke hits. And we got a werewolf film here that's a little bit different. So if you've got a little bit of a sense of humour and you like a film that doesn't take itself too seriously, this might be one to check out. It's on the shelves right now, so give it a go. Thanks for watching, everybody. I will see you back with more review and content on Screen Stars very, very soon.